watching AFox, and today I'm going to be talking to you about The Division. Now, what I'm going to try and do with this episode, sort of this slot in my channel, is talk about a topic, take something that I want to discuss and talk about it throughout a video, usually which will be a voiceover, there we go, of a game like on Crucible, or maybe doing a strike, or even playing Vault of Glass or Crota at some point, who knows. But whatever the content is, it will be always me talking about some form of topic. Now today I want to talk about The Division. I just want to admit something here. I've filmed about half of this video with my commentaries and realised that I hadn't even turned my mic on. So it's just a disaster for me. I'm not very good at filming, am I? My last video I did wrong, and this time I've done my audios wrong again. It's just not going so well. But yeah, another problem was that I did just finish filming a video, but it turned out to be a bit of a flop. It was for a video called What's in My Vault, and I was showing you guys some shit that I had in my vault that really needs sorting out. But it got very boring very fast. So yeah, to say the least, I decided not to do it, and I just put together this video very quickly. So if everything doesn't make too much sense, or if it sounds like I'm ranting, or if this video doesn't sound like my ideas are put very well together, that'll be why. But anyway, let's get on with today's video. So if you're not too familiar with what Tom Clancy's The Division is, it's a shooter, a third-person shooter, RPG. Now, there are more and more elements that come together to make this game actually more of an RPG than anything else as more information is released. Unfortunately, I'm not too sure when this game will be out. That's not a very good way to start talking about this game, but I don't have a clue. It's expected later in this year, some point in 2015, but there's no set date, and I don't think we're going to get one either. To be honest, I can expect this game to not come out until 2016 because there are a lot of things that the game has got that seems like it needs a lot of work on. But who knows, if it does come out this year, I would be more than happy because I am so excited for it, and I really do want this game to come out like right now. So I would be thrilled if it does come out that it's going to be here this year. But anyway, what you might want to know that makes this game a little bit similar to Destiny is the fact that it's got co-op play against AI enemies and against PvP. So basically the way this game works, it's an open world, and there are places that you can go to called dark zones, and those dark zones are the places where PvP combat will happen. You have to do a lot of looting, a lot of finding stuff and supplies to keep yourself alive, to build up your stats of your character, which is another thing that's very RPG about this game. And throughout exploring these areas, the dark zones are harder places, will require you to be with a team, probably not safe to go into alone because you probably will get your ass pretty much kicked. So they do require you to have some form of either skill or knowing the area or a good team behind you. So that can be interesting, and also it does mean that you will come across other players throughout the game quite often. So it will feel like a quite nice social experience rather than something that's just alone. But also in those areas that aren't dark zones, you'll be able to do you'll be able to do PvE, which is just against enemies and other characters that will be throughout the game. So places that aren't PvP related will be like, you know, you might find a bunch of bandits here and there. Because this game does have, obviously, it does have a storyline to it, and there are a lot of different factions, and those different factions will be the enemies that you're fighting against with your team or alone, depending on what you choose. Another thing that I really think is worth mentioning is that this game absolutely looks incredible. Like, it is insane how beautiful this game is. It's one of the reasons that I'm super excited to play it, because I love beautiful games. I absolutely am obsessed with games that look outstanding, and this to me is one of those games that just looks incredible. And if you haven't seen the trailers for it, really do go check them out, because they really do give credit to this game and what its abilities is going to have in it. So yeah, definitely go see it, especially the gameplay trailers, as opposed to like the cinematic versions. But the game does look really amazing. I can't put together how good it looks. So that is one of the things I would definitely say is a very good selling point about this game for me. So like I said, one of the major elements about this game that makes it RPG is that you can build up your character's profile how you want and like the abilities to what you would like to have. So you can swap out your abilities, such as if you want to focus on healing or pure damage dealing, for example, then that means that you can go about those roles how you will. And if you build up those types of roles, it doesn't mean that you can't then decide you want to do something else. So if you do want to be like one of the healer people for your team, and then another day you want to play some different people and someone else is already doing the healing thing, you can easily swap it out to do a different thing so that your character's built up more for damage dealing, which is a really good element to have. It means that you can change up how you play your game all the time, and it means that meeting new people is not a problem, and whatever you have, you can make your character fit to your team, which is really nice, because I don't think it'll be very useful if you meet people and you're all a bunch of healers as opposed to anyone doing any good damage. So having this change out of your abilities for your class system is really good. Also, that does mean that there's going to be an upgrading system for which you can unlock and upgrade your weapons, which is going to be interesting. I'm quite interested to see how they're going to like work on that and build it up and how that's going to look. So that's definitely a thing to look out for when more information comes out. But yeah, through reading articles, it does sound really interesting, especially with the way that you'll be able to switch out your abilities between your weapons and your class, so that you can play against other people with different abilities, which I think is a really unique idea. Another thing that builds up this RPG element is the fact that there are 3 different various districts that you play through in your world, which give you an idea of how dangerous things are. For example, what I'm saying is, it's quite confusing to understand when you first hear it, but there are 3 different districts, like 3 different ratings, which is security, contagion, and moral, or morale. I can't really pronounce the word, I don't know. And those security ratings tell you how likely it is that you'll be attacked while traveling through the particular district, while contagion denotes like the likelihood of you being infected with the virus that's in New York, because that's where the game is set and it is a virus. It's like an apocalyptic world that you're living in. And then the morale relates to how like how will you receive the assistance from the citizens in the like area that you're going through, which is obviously to do with the AI. So it can be a bit confusing, it's quite difficult for me to understand, but when you get grips to it, it does sound quite interesting and quite confusing and complex, but again, interesting. But yeah, I'm kind of finding it quite interesting how the AI can like help you and your teammates, as opposed to just being relied on other players helping you out, because it does mean that if you are playing alone, you can also get somewhere throughout this game anyway. And the contagion thing, by what it seems, it's not something you can really deal with or change, but you have to like manage and use that to your advantage in ways of figuring out how to get through that area. Anyway, this video is really nearly over, so I'll be back soon with a new video. If you want to hear more about the Division, I will certainly do something else in the future. But yeah, until next time, bye!